My video for February the 11th, 2020 is video number 3,363. The title is Corporate Fraud, Gold-Fringed U.S. Flags. One of my friends sent me a snippet from Donald Trump's State of the Union address, pointing out that there was no fringe on the flag behind the president in the House of Representatives. She was right. But what did that mean? Did Trump have the proper flag hung, or was there some other explanation? I went back until I found one of Obama's State of the Union speeches. Again, no fringe on the flag. Of course, in all so-called courts of justice, there is fringe on the flag, which to me is desecration of the flag, as well as an indicator that it is corporate law, not common law, that is at play in those courts, operating unlawfully. Yes, there is a huge difference between lawful and legal. Much of what goes on under the legal umbrella is in reality unlawful. The entire system is corrupted, and human rights are, in essence, swept under the table or kept behind closed doors. Are enough people waking up to the abuse? Are waking up to the abuse to finally bring an end to the fraud? And my eyes are not seeing what I've typed correctly. Anyway, I remind everyone there is no statute of limitations against fraud, regardless of what the international criminals who have infiltrated most structures of human society all over the place. It's way past time for complete exposure of these issues. And I apologize. I don't know, my eyes seem like they're blurry as I'm trying to read that, and I'm not being able to focus correctly, and I don't know what's going on. I can see, but the fine detail I'm missing at this moment in time, and I don't know what that is. But I do get a lot of things sent to me by my friend. In fact, she overwhelms me most of the time with all of the research she's doing on the injustice of the system as it is. And I've known for a long time, and many people that are waking up realize that corporate law takes away human rights. And that's why in all of the courts in the United States, I've not been in all of them, of course, but the ones that I've been in, and I believe that most of the courts, if not all of them, do have the corporate fringe on the flag. Now, is that true in the Supreme Court? I don't know. I would like to see the flags in the Supreme Court, but I wouldn't even know if that's available information, because the Supreme Court and the higher courts, at least, probably are very privatized. And privatized means corporate. That's another word for it, another synonym for the whole game that's being played that deprives humanity of natural human rights, including the right to defend ourselves, which of course is what the fight over guns is all about. We have an inherent right, as all beings do, to do the best we can to defend ourselves against enemies. And in the case of the political game, all enemies foreign and domestic. And that's why they're working so hard to try to take guns away from the people. And as I've said in other videos, and will probably say in other videos after this one, the people that are trying to take the guns away from people, whether they're in cities or states or counties or wherever they are, those people are in violation of their oath of office, because the oath of office is to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The domestic enemies are the ones that we have to worry about, because they are the ones that have infiltrated the system itself, that is ripe and rife with all sorts of corruption. I mean, that is coming out more and more as things are being exposed that were long hidden and kept under the rug and behind closed doors. And the awakening isn't happening fast enough for me, but there does seem to be signs of an actual awakening as people realize that much of what we've been told in all of our cultural aspects of society, most of it has been infiltrated by dark forces. And even religions have been dumbed down so that people don't understand some of the basic principles that are necessary to have a free and open society. And that doesn't mean free to hurt anybody else. That is a natural law of, again, self-defense. And if you kill somebody in self-defense, it's not a crime. It's never a crime to defend yourself, but many people have been killed by police that are not instructed properly, and of course by militaries that invade foreign lands and kill wantonly. And I've told the story of my first cousin who served a couple of tours of duty in Vietnam as an undercover sniper, picking off the Viet Cong, and it messed his mind up terribly. And I'm sure there are many others that, unlike my cousin who went out probably and killed himself, we don't know, he just disappeared. But in any case, some of them might become murderers because killing for them means absolutely nothing. They've been brainwashed and dumbed down to the point that they can't think straight, and it messes up their soul, which intuitively and inherently cries out and says, this is wrong. This is wrong. They are not psychopaths. The psychopaths are able to have that turned off somehow, whether it's through drugs or hypnotism or whatever it is. They don't seem to function with normal human compassion. And I'd like to see not just the United States, but the entire world come under a system of common law where people have a right to defend themselves against those corporate criminals that have an agenda to create a one world government that defies any concept of truth and justice for all. I'd like to see humanity liberated, set free. And I'd like to see that happen by empowering human beings. I mean, I've heard people say, well, the way to do it is just stop complying. Well, that's easier said than done. Perhaps people that are willing to live in the wilderness can get away with not complying or non-compliance. But most people that live in society cannot do that. I mean, it's just not practical, and it's not practical to have everybody armed where you're killing all the people with badges and uniforms. It's just more and more of the insanity that we've seen over and over again in human culture. Thank you for listening, and namaste.